Genius. Picasso.
Get back.
I'm Steve, and welcome to another episode of Classified Captures. Now keep yourselves glued to your screens because we got an episode for you this week. What would you do if you heard a cat crying for help in a dark alley and decided to check it out? That's how this begins. Someone heard what sounds like a distressed cat and goes to investigate, expecting to find an injured animal. But it's not a cat, it's a dog. Completely black, eyes reflecting in the dark, standing still and staring right at the person filming. Something about it feels wrong. Then within seconds, it suddenly charges and the footage cuts. Now, think about that for a second. Why was a dog making the sound of a cat? That's not normal behavior. A dog mimicking another animal's distress call to pull someone closer suggests something far more calculated. Many people immediately pointed to a skinwalker. These entities are known for mimicking animals to lure people in, and this fits that pattern perfectly. Others believe it could be a hint, a spirit from southern folklore said to appear as dark animals in places like alleyways at night. Then there's the witch theory, same idea, different origin. Something that can shapeshift and use sound to isolate a target. A dog that sounds like a cat waiting in the dark and changing the moment you get close. Whatever that was, it was not trying to be found. What would you do if you were out in the middle of the ocean at night and realized something was keeping pace with your boat? Well, that's exactly what happened here. A man on a night fishing trip starts noticing movement alongside him. Fast. Too fast. Something cutting through the water, leaving trails and ripples, but never quite breaking the surface. Whatever it was, it stayed just out of sight, like it knew better than to reveal itself. Then the sounds begin. Screams. Distant at first, then suddenly close. Not quite human, not quite animal either. The kind of sound that hits you before you even have time to think. Then it changes. The screaming stretches into something deeper, almost whale-like, rising and falling through the darkness. This is where it gets interesting. Across maritime folklore, from ancient Greek sailors to fishermen around the world, there's a consistent story. Creatures in the water that use sound to draw people in. And that shift from human-like screams to deeper tones is something those stories describe right before contact. Most people who hear this react the same way. It doesn't feel normal. Whatever was out there that night, staying on that boat, might have been the only smart decision. What do you think he was hearing?
We got another one over here? What are those? On each side of the boat? What are those trails called? What's something swimming fast underneath that water? Something swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's he at? What the is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it.
Now, I've had a few crazy girlfriends where I've walked out the door and wanted to leave as quickly as this guy does, but I wish I could have been as cool as this guy. Oh, watch this, man. Genius. Genius. How to get away from a crazy ex as quickly as possible. This guy wins the medal. Okay, well, that's a ribbon worm. I mean, that's just really strange, right? It's almost like the Spider-Man of the worm family. You know, if it had wrists, it'd be doing this and shooting out crap just to be able to, capture its prey or whatever it's actually doing. But that's just, it's freaky and it's incredibly clever at the same time, isn't it? It's almost like you can't stop watching it. This footage out of North Carolina shows a man standing completely still, locked in place, staring straight up at the sky. And then you notice his face. It doesn't move normally. The eyes and the mouth, the expression, all seem to flicker and distort in a way that feels off. Not like natural movement, not even like something you can easily explain away as camera blur. The person filming has no idea what they're looking at, and, well, honestly, neither do we. There are real-world explanations that have to be considered: a medical episode, a neurological event, some kind of dissociative state. Situations like this can cause someone to freeze up and fix their gaze, and the facial distortion could be a mix of muscle activity and camera artifacts. But that's not what most people's minds go to, because visually, this looks very familiar, almost identical to the scenes in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where people are drawn towards something in the sky, completely still, and like they're being controlled or called by something they cannot resist. If something out there could interact directly with the human brain, bypassing conscious control, this is exactly what it might look like from the outside. A person fixed in place, focused on something above them that no one else can see. Medical or something else entirely. Either way, whatever had his attention, he was not looking away.
Oh, my flash on. I don't even give a What the hell wrong with this? She glitching for real.
That's a yo.
I don't know, that need to tighten up, though.
With the 2026 release of Michael bringing Michael Jackson back into the spotlight, all theories are resurfacing fast, and one in particular refuses to go away. The idea that he never died, that he's still alive, living as Dave. Now, if you've never seen Dave before, his appearance on Larry King Live sparked serious debate. People pointed to the voice, the mannerisms, even certain facial proportions that feel just a little too familiar. Enough to make someone question whether it was a coincidence. Jackson was not just a performer, he was someone who understood image transformation and control at a level few ever have. Reinventing himself was part of who he was, and because of that, some believe disappearing entirely might not have been impossible for him. Officially, he died on June the 25th, 2009. That's never been overturned or seriously challenged in any legal sense. And there are always logical explanations when people start connecting similarities between two individuals. But this theory has survived over 15 years. Every time his name returns to the spotlight, it comes back with it. And that alone is what keeps people questioning. If he really wanted to disappear, well, would anyone actually be able to prove he didn't?
I want to thank each and every one of you for your overwhelming support. May God bless you. I love you. Good night. Thank you very much for all of your support, and may God bless you all. I love you. Goodbye. To his Encino house.
I think I was at the Encino house.
To his Encino house.
I think I was at the Encino house.
Back in 1994, something happened at the Ariel School that still has not been fully explained. During recess, a UFO was reportedly seen landing just outside the school grounds. Around 62 children witnessed it, not just the craft, but the beings that came out of it. What makes this case different is the witnesses. 62 children. Separate accounts, yet the same details kept repeating. The same craft, the same location, and the same description of the beings: small figures, large black eyes, black hair, wearing tight black suits. Some of the children said the beings didn't speak, at least not in any normal way. Instead, they described receiving something directly, a message, a feeling, almost like an image placed in their minds without words. John Mack from Harvard University later interviewed the children and found their stories both credible and consistent. What makes it even harder to dismiss is what came after. Many of those children are now adults, and decades later, their accounts have not changed. Some still describe that moment as the most important experience of their lives. 62 witnesses, over 30 years of consistency, and formal documentation from a Harvard researcher. One of the most compelling mass sightings on record, and yet most people have never heard of it. Makes you wonder what gets remembered and what quietly fades away.
Big head and big black eyes, and was dressed in a black bodysuit.
One was running in the trees, and the other one was running across the ship, because there were also trees here.
Did you look at him?
Yes.
Did he look at you?
Yes, then he gave me the creeps, then I stopped looking
Gave you
at him.
the creeps.
Then he was looking at me back. I couldn't just keep on looking at him, so I had to stop and I looked sideways, so he couldn't keep on making me feel faint.
You see the eyes? What did they look like?
They were going like that.
Where was the pointy part? Was the pointy part in here, or was the pointy part up there?
They were just like looking at all of us. They seemed to have stiff necks. They didn't seem to move their necks like we can.
Witnesses at Shenzhen Airport in China captured something in the sky that has people asking serious questions. A massive ring hanging in the air above the airport, clean, circular, and clearly defined, not drifting like a cloud or shifting like light through fog, just there. And the scale is what really stands out. Roughly 2 kilometers across, that's not small. That's larger than most city centers. Whatever was creating that ring was operating on a scale you do not associate with drones, flares, or weather balloons. Naturally, theories started forming. One of the most talked about is the idea of a cloaked craft, not fully visible but outlined by that ring of light, the way a transparent bubble catches light at its edges while the center stays visible. It sounds extreme, but it would explain the shape, the boundary, the perimeter, something there just not fully seen. Then there is where this happened: China. Countries like China, the United States, and Russia are all pushing the limits of advanced technology, and there have been claims over the years that some of that progress may not be entirely human in origin. If something like that were being tested or even observed, this is exactly the kind of visual you might expect. Something massive, controlled, and just out of reach of full visibility. A 2-kilometer ring sitting above an active airport. Accident, experiment, or something else entirely. The more you look at it, the harder it is to dismiss. A witness in a forested area realized something was following them and climbed a tree to hide. From up there, they filmed what came out of the woods, and what appears is one of the more disturbing creature designs seen on this channel. It moves on 4 limbs, but the structure still feels human. Long arms, bent legs, claw-like fingers. A ridge of fur runs down its back as it moves through the trees. But the head is where it becomes unsettling. There's no face, just what looks like a deer skull stripped clean, antlers still attached, empty sockets pointing forward as it moves through the forest. The closest cultural parallel is the Weechuge from Athabascan mythology in Canada and Alaska. A being described as part human, part animal, taken over by a spirit and transformed into something violent and unnatural. Now, the reality check. Well, this is almost certainly AI. The detail is too controlled, the motion too smooth, the lighting too clean for a real encounter. But if it is AI, it's clearly informed by real folklore. The Weechuge is not a common reference, and that detail stands out. Real or not, it lands the same way. Someone comes face to face with a black orb hovering in open air above a patch of plants, and right away, it doesn't behave like something random. It's not just floating there, it's tracking, staying close, adjusting its position in a way that feels directed, almost aware of the person filming. Even when it's told to go back, it doesn't leave, it lingers, then slowly continues its approach. And at the very end, it changes pace completely. It accelerates straight toward the camera and the footage cuts. In both paranormal and UAP discussions, black orbs are often treated differently from the more commonly reported luminous ones. Luminous orbs are usually linked to energy-type phenomena or unexplained atmospheric light. Black orbs are more often described as observational, something that watches, moves deliberately, and seems to study rather than drift. One detail people keep pointing out is the environment. The plants underneath do not move, no reaction, no disturbance, which raises the obvious question. If this was a physical object moving that close, you would expect at least some interaction with the foliage. That either means it's not behaving like a normal object in our physical space, or the interaction was not captured properly, which is something often seen in generated footage. A genuine anomaly operating outside normal physics, or something artificial built to look like one. Now you tell me.
Get back.
During a 2023 hike, a man hears twigs snapping nearby. Sensing danger, he hides in the undergrowth and presses record. What emerges from the trees is massive. It boasts broad shoulders, a heavy back, and walks entirely on two legs. It moves with a slow and hurried pace, completely unbothered by its surroundings. But the most terrifying detail is the head. It's not a bear or a human silhouette. This creature features a distinct canine head on a muscular bipedal body. In the dogman community, witnesses consistently describe this exact creature, a large, upright wolf-like predator navigating the woods with the confidence of an apex predator. Ohio is a notorious hotspot for this bizarre activity. This footage adds a chilling new chapter to that history. Hiding was the best decision this hiker ever made. The creature dwarfed him, completely owning those woods. Outrunning it would be impossible. So what do you think is stalking in the trees? This is a cat that wants to take over the world. Just look in his eyes, look in his eyes, look what he's plotting. It's very cool. You could almost see him do this. Americans barely had time to process the devastating California wildfires of 2025 before new footage began circulating showing flames now spreading through the Florida Everglades. And the sight alone is unsettling in a way that goes beyond the typical wildfire report. The Florida Everglades is one of the most important wetland ecosystems in the world, roughly 1.5 million acres of subtropical wilderness, home to hundreds of species found nowhere else on Earth. And it is, by definition, a wetland. Which is why the fire here feels so abnormal. Wildfires in the Everglades are not unheard of, but historically they were limited and seasonal. In recent years, however, drought conditions and long-term changes in water management have made the system far more vulnerable. What was once consistently saturated land is now experiencing conditions where fire can take hold and spread. The footage comes out, shows thick smoke, an orange sky, and flames moving through terrain most people associate with water, not fire. Communities around the region are watching it with concern, especially as the scale becomes harder to ignore. Across different parts of the world, from California to Australia, major fire events keep repeating with increasing frequency, and between them, the recovery time seems to be shrinking. The pattern is becoming harder to treat as isolated incidents. Someone was filming the sky as a storm rolled in when something unexpected appeared in the footage. During a lightning flash, for just a fraction of a second, the sky lights up completely, and in that instant, something becomes visible, a large metallic disc shape, clearly defined, suspended in the sky, and then gone the moment the flash disappears. This type of capture is especially interesting because of how lightning behaves. A lightning strike produces an extremely bright, near-instantaneous burst of light that briefly illuminates everything within a wide area. If something is normally hidden from view, whether through darkness, atmospheric conditions, or some form of light manipulation, that brief burst can expose it for an instant. This would explain why the object appears only during the flash and then vanishes immediately after, not because it moved, but because the lightning conditions that reveal it no longer exist. It's a pattern that has been discussed before in other footage, where sudden intense light sources seem to reveal shapes that are otherwise not visible. In this case, it's just on a much larger scale and higher in the sky. A disc-shaped object appears for a fraction of a second above the storm, and then nothing. Whatever that was, it only showed itself when the sky lit up with enough force to put it into view. We covered the blood-red dust storms earlier in this series when they appeared in Australia, Libya, and Egypt. Now reports suggest the same phenomenon is reaching parts of Africa. Footage shows the sky turning a deep red with no filters applied, just the environment overwhelmed by color as the dust moves in. Dust storms are not unusual on a global scale. Saharan dust regularly travels across continents, so the movement itself is not the mystery. It's the consistency of the color. The same intense red appearing across Australia, North Africa, and now potentially more regions is what's drawing attention. Some researchers link it to higher iron oxide content in the atmosphere. Others question whether something else is influencing the intensity of what people are seeing. Historically, red skies and red rain have also appeared in different cultures, often recorded during periods of disruption or change. Whether coincidence or pattern is still debated. As reports continue into 2026, one question keeps coming up. Why does it keep returning in the same form? This footage is said to be from a swamp in Arizona, showing what appears to be a large humanoid frog walking upright through shallow water. There's one detail that stands out immediately. The person filming has a light source on. It's night, and the swamp should be nearly pitch black, yet the creature is clearly visible in the beam. But it doesn't react. No pause, no change in direction, no response to the light at all. It just keeps moving through the water as if it's not being observed. Now, that's unusual because most animals show some reaction to sudden light and darkness. Even minimal exposure usually triggers a change in behavior. Here, there's none, which is where the footage starts to raise questions. The creature, design, and environment look convincing, but while the lack of interaction between subject and light is a common sign of staged or AI-generated footage. A humanoid frog in an Arizona swamp is almost certainly not real, but footage like this can be made to look like it is. A couple was hiking when they came across a woman on the trail who immediately felt off. She asked if they had seen her other people and suggested they take a different route. That alone is unusual. You do not redirect strangers on a trail without context. They ignore her and kept walking. She followed, not briefly but persistently, staying behind them as they moved. Then her voice changed. It developed a strange gargling quality, almost like water in her throat, before shifting into a higher pitch that didn't match how she had been speaking earlier. When she noticed the camera, she began speaking directly to it. "Hey, YouTubers," addressing the audience as if she knew she was being filmed for more than just the people present. She continued following until the footage ends. From a practical standpoint, this could point to severe mental distress or erratic behavior, both of which can escalate in isolated environments. In paranormal circles, similar encounters are often linked to mimic or skinwalker-type reports involving voice changes in pursuit in remote areas. Either way, the situation was escalating fast, and leaving was the right call.
Where'd you just come from? I took the wrong way. Oh my goodness.
Did you see my other two guys?
What?
What?
Did you see my other two guys?
Did we see your other two guys? No.
You're supposed to go that way.
No, we're not supposed to go that way.
No.
Want to meet them?
No, we don't want to meet him.
No, I don't want to meet them.
How about not? I don't know.
If you go the other way, you don't gotta go over the tree.
I don't know, it sounds like she's gargling water.
Blah, blah.
Something over the tree. Oh my goodness.
What?
I thought that was somebody else. She's trying to speak to our channel right now.
YouTubers, should I wear my orange outfit with this? With the blue?
Oh my
Are you
God.
kidding me right now? She's asking people for what? Oh, why am I? Help me! Oh my goodness! Can't get over that? No! She said, "Here I come." She said, "What?" Oh my God! I don't. My pants are wet.
Oh my God. Well, you been playing in the water again?
No, that's free.
Or did you pee your pants?
It's free.
Man, she switched her voice.
Really fast.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The Appalachian Mountains keep delivering strange cases. A camp counselor was outside at night checking a broken-down golf cart when he heard something that made him run straight inside, no hesitation. The sound is the key detail. It sits between an animal call and a human scream, but fully matches neither. It triggers an immediate instinct to get away, and that's exactly what he did. The Appalachian Mountains has a long history of reports involving strange nighttime vocalizations. Some resemble known wildlife, but many witnesses insist they don't match anything familiar. After getting inside, the counselor even called out to check if anyone needed help. What came back was the same sound. At that point, it no longer felt like something asking for help.
You all right?
A woman photographed her husband standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon. He's about 6 feet tall, and the photo was taken from a distance. When they reviewed it later, there was a third figure in the frame. Behind him, partly in the bushes, is a pale-faced figure wearing what looks like a dark hooded covering, staring directly toward the camera. They don't remember seeing anyone there at the time. What stands out is the size. Based on distance and scale, the figure appears far taller than a normal person, estimated between 8 and 10 feet. The Grand Canyon carries deep cultural significance for the Havasupai, Navajo, and Hopi, with long-standing spiritual associations tied to the land. It could be a trick of perspective or an unnoticed person in dark clothing, but the height and the pale face make it difficult to settle on that easily. Fast food already had a reputation problem, and this is not gonna help. A woman bit into her meal at a fast food restaurant and felt something hard inside. When she broke it open, she found bone-like structures, not small fragments either. When she photographed them, they appeared to form a jaw-like shape, with what looked like teeth still attached and arranged in a familiar alignment. Now, the straightforward explanation is still important here. In processed meat, small bone fragments from chicken or beef can occasionally end up in food due to processing errors. Up close, those fragments could look far more structured than they actually are. But what's being shown here is described as jaw-shaped, with an arrangement that resembles teeth placement in a mouth. And that's where the concern comes in. Over recent years, there have been growing scrutiny around food processing, from heavily modified meat products to contamination issues and ultra-processed ingredients that are hard to visually identify once prepared. A structure that looks like a jaw inside fast food is alarming at first glance, even if the most likely explanation is still something far more mundane in origin. What matters most is that without proper verification, images like this leave more questions than answers.
I want to know how I've been sitting here eating this meat and I noticed a row of teeth in my shit. And that ain't it. They got the top and bottom jaw in my shit. I just sat here and ate this food and bit into somebody's molar. And I'm saying somebody because I don't know if this is an animal or a human in this bowl of meat. Am I a cannibal? What is it, carnivore? What the word? What is going on? What's going on, honestly? A row of teeth?
The owner of a mechanical shop was reviewing his surveillance camera feed when he noticed one of his workers standing outside and talking to thin air. The worker appeared to be having an intense conversation, which understandably made the owner feel uneasy. So he decided to call the worker to find out what was happening.
Estoy revisando por la cámara del taller y este maestro está hablando solo. Le voy a preguntar por cámara qué está haciendo. ¿Aló? Oye, disculpa, pero ¿con quién estás hablando? ¿Tú me estás hablando del accidente de anoche?
Claro.
Juan, me estáis huellando, ¿cierto?
No, pues estoy con Don Carlos aquí, pues.
Es que no estáis hablando con nadie, viejo.
No puede ser, pues yo tengo el caballero aquí al frente mío, pues.
No estás hablando con nadie, Juan, y ayer los que chocaron murieron todos. Juan, no estás con nadie. Sube y ven a ver las cámaras. Tengo todo grabado.
Yes, you heard that. The worker said he was talking to a customer who had an accident the previous night. At first, he even thought it was a prank, but the employee mentioning the accident made him realize that the person from the accident had died. After watching the video, I was curious and investigated whether anyone else had experienced something similar. It turns out a number of people have. Take a look at this confession. I believe it because the same thing happened to me in a cemetery. I was visiting my sister's grave who died at 16 years old. The cemetery was empty. Then all of a sudden, a man dressed in a suit and tie appeared out of nowhere. He looked alive, nothing spooky about him, and he told me he worked for the church and took care of the cemetery. We spoke about my sister's grave and her passing. I found out later that the man was indeed a ghost that many knew about. Another person stated, had this happened to a friend of mine on camera outside of the Sears automotive section, said on the team radio that he'd run into a lost little girl needing to find her family. He walked from outside to the inside to the security area, the whole time holding his arm and hand out like he was holding the hand of a child. When he got to the security office, he told her to have a seat while the security team showed him some footage. Beyond shocked, he turned around to notice the child had completely vanished. He quit his job a few weeks later. These accounts are both chilling. While some may be skeptical, these stories are hard to ignore. What do you make of it? The concept of living in a matrix or a simulation has long been a matter of fascination for many people. Questions arise such as who is controlling this matrix? Is it real or just a figment of our imagination? Check out an interview with Billy Carson on a podcast about the Matrix.
We're in a simulation, and you said they just found evidence of it?
As they began to learn through the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, colliding these atoms and particles together, they discovered we're living in a matrix. And then Professor James Gates took it another level and said, wow, we are living in a matrix because he discovered these symbols by the Dogons called Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes, when you take them from flat print and take them into three-dimensional objects, they're mathematical codes. But not any type of mathematical code, they're error-correcting codes. The same type that run search engines and web browsers. And that is what he discovered is running the ether of space-time itself. So we have his expert analysis with his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in superposition. Everything exists in multiple realities as a wave of potentials until a conscious observer collapses it into solid material.
So Carson mentions that the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, in Switzerland has confirmed the existence of a light matrix in which we are living. Moreover, the double-slit experiment also supports the idea of living in a matrix. According to him, Professor James Gates also confirms that the Adinkra codes could be used to prove this theory. Now, these sound like bold claims, but anyone who knows who Billy Carson is won't be too surprised. After all, he's the founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., and the best-selling author of The Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. Is there some credibility to what he's saying, though? Well, I'll leave that up to you to decide.
With his team that he put together, that we're living inside of a matrix running on error-correcting codes like our search engines and web browsers. We have the LHC confirming that we're living in a light matrix. And we also have then the double slit experiment confirming in...
Are you familiar with the term petrification? I'm not talking about the feeling of being terrified. What I'm referring to is when organic matter turns into stone after being exposed to minerals for a long period. Now, why did I ask this? Well, take a look at this footage. Someone found this cave on the side of a mountain, and looking out from the cave is a giant head made of stone. This could just be a carving, but the location of this carving is not exactly a prime spot to exhibit your art, and that's where the theory of petrification comes in. There are a lot of mountains and stone structures all over the world with faces on them. There are some who believe that these faces could have belonged to giants who once roamed the earth. Now, I know it sounds like a stretch, but we have found other stone structures around the world that were also abnormally large bodies that could not be explained. The logical thing would be to say that earlier civilizations built them, but here's the thing. Those civilizations couldn't have had the technology to build these large structures, so unless they were magical beings that came to help them put the structures together, there's a strong possibility that we could be dealing with giants here. What do you think? Now, what is that right there? A small, strange creature was captured on video in someone's home. It looked like a tiny humanoid with a big belly and an ugly appearance. The moment it realized it had been spotted, the creature started to run away, or more accurately, it wobbled away quickly. This peculiar creature was unlike anything seen before. Its small stature and unusual features made it both fascinating and frightening. It had a grotesque, almost otherworldly look with a big belly that swayed as it moved. The sight of it wobbling away is almost comical, yet eerie at the same time. The big question now is, what is that? Aaron thinks it's a demon, and as usual, our science whiz Julius thinks it's CGI. Who are you siding with? If you've never trusted self-driving cars, then maybe this next clip might prove you right. Take a look.
Okay, I don't know why it did that.
The driver in this vehicle was simply enjoying a leisurely cruise when, without warning, the Tesla suddenly veered off the road. It's not supposed to do that, and it's not designed to do that, especially when there's another car coming from the opposite direction. So what could have happened here? The truth is, we don't really know. Some users of Teslas, although not a lot, have recorded having had such experiences. For a self-driving car, these are defects it can't afford to have. It could result in serious tragedies. This is what the masses had to say in the comments section of the original post. A number of individuals thought the car was simply trying to pass by the car stopping ahead. As logical as that sounds, the car's sensors should still have picked up the solid line in incoming traffic. This made others think there was something more sinister going on, like these users. Now, that sounds funny, but it could just be bugs. I mean, AI hasn't gotten to the point where it can't decide to kill humans, right? Right.
Okay, I don't know why it did that.
A farmer from Poland shared this incredible footage, a scene that looks like it's straight out of Chicken Run 2. As you can see, chickens were storming out of the farm and chasing after a truck. But that's not all. Ostriches were also running alongside them, and they had human-shaped clothes hanging from their necks. The spectacle of chickens and ostriches on the run is amusing enough, but the addition of the clothes on the ostriches makes it look surreal, almost like a scene crafted with CGI. Could this be the real-life antics of farm animals, or is it the product of some clever digital manipulation? The farmer insists it's real, but the scene certainly has an uncanny, almost cinematic quality to it. What do you think? In an almost similar incident, a man was walking through the woods when he stumbled upon an old, abandoned well. Naturally curious, he decided to peer inside, perhaps expecting nothing more than darkness or maybe some forgotten debris. But what he found was far more unsettling. As he leaned over to look inside, his camera captured something chilling, a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him from the depths of the well. These eyes, almost unnaturally bright, seemed to follow his every movement, as if the creature they belonged to was just as curious about him as he was about it. Startled, the man quickly retreated and ran back from the scene. Now, unlike other encounters where Bigfoot might be the suspect, this creature didn't seem to fit that description. Julius speculates that it could be an animal trapped down there, its eyes reflecting the daylight, but the man who witnessed it isn't so sure. The eyes seemed too large, too eerie for an ordinary animal. Could it be an animal or something far more enigmatic? The idea that we're living in a matrix isn't new, but it's certainly a theory that sparks debate. Not everyone is convinced, but every now and then we come across something that makes us question reality. Aaron, a firm believer in the Matrix theory, shared a video that he thinks is a perfect example of a glitch in the Matrix. In this footage, you see a hand tapping on a mirror hanging on the wall, but here's where things get strange. In the reflection, there's a butterfly calmly resting in front of the mirror. The odd part? In real life, there's no butterfly to be seen, only its reflection exists. This eerie phenomenon leaves us wondering, how can something appear in a reflection without being present in reality? For those who believe in the Matrix theory, this video is compelling evidence that we might be living in a simulated reality where not everything behaves as it should. But what do you think? Is this just a visual anomaly, or could there be something more to it?
Co to kurwa je?
This footage was recorded somewhere in the Czech Republic. The man who captured it said that the sounds were unlike anything he'd ever heard from the known creatures that roam the area. He mentioned encountering a creature that resembled a skinwalker-type cryptid. He believes it might be what Europeans call a hezkal. According to local folklore, a hezkal is some type of cryptid demon that runs through the forest and hills. Now, we haven't had a lot of clips on this creature, but perhaps in our next episode we might do a deep dive. This creature seems to share the same vocal characteristics as a skinwalker. The man states that they were more like screams that were almost human but with a distinctive howl to them. Listening to them, what do you think you're hearing? Now, we all know about the endless debates on whether we have made contact with extraterrestrial beings or not. Well, there's a man by the name of Dr. Gary Nolan, a Stanford professor, who shared a rather strange situation he found himself in during an interview with Tucker Carlson.
And all of a sudden, one day, the CIA shows up at your office?
At first, I thought it was a joke. I really thought that somebody was about to put me on candid camera and make a joke of it. But as they started showing me the data, and they were deadly serious, I tried to lure them into making a joke about it. They were deadly serious about it because they had basically said at that point, people have died.
Dr. Nolan revealed that CIA agents approached him to help analyze individuals who had allegedly made contact with UFOs. According to him, the agents showed him images of people who had died or were bedridden following their encounters. Some had parts of their brains internally fried and suffered from radiation burns on their skin. Dr. Nolan met these people and asked them a few questions. Many reported seeing glowing objects or unknown crafts. They all experienced adverse effects because they got too close to these objects. Interestingly, all these individuals were military personnel on duty. Does this mean that the military has had contact with UFOs but can't get close due to the dangers involved? This incident occurred back in 2011. I wonder what progress or future contact has been made over the past decade. What do you think? Could the military be continuing its efforts to understand these mysterious encounters, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Share your thoughts.
What was the story there?
That was the so-called Rendlesham Forest case in England, where objects were seen over the bunkers where the nuclear weapons were stored.
Next, we've got a clip that the uploader insists is a glitch in the Matrix. Take a look. According to him, he was going about his day when he noticed this strange bird-like creature suddenly start to drop from the sky. He was already filming at this point and managed to capture just the moment the bird-like creature all of a sudden started to fall. He insists it's not natural, and when you look at the clip, there's something off about it. I did some digging around, starting from the original post, and almost everyone who saw it was convinced it was a weather balloon. You see it too. What do you think? This footage has got to be one of the most convincing pieces of glitch in the Matrix evidence circulating on the internet. It was captured by a man who was sitting in his parked car in a parking lot when he noticed something incredibly odd happening just a few cars away. Take a look. A woman seated in the front passenger seat of a car gets out, walks around to the driver's side, sits down, and then almost like she's following a script, she gets out again, walks around the back of the car, and re-enters the passenger seat. Now here's where things get really strange. According to the man who took the footage, he'd already watched her repeat this bizarre sequence 3 times before he started filming. It's as if she's caught in some sort of a loop, endlessly repeating the same actions without any apparent reason. This isn't just a simple case of someone forgetting something and retracing their steps. She's literally moving in a perfect circle over and over again, as if she's stuck in a loop. It's almost like watching a character in a video game that's being glitched, endlessly following the same path with no way out. What could possibly explain this? Was she in some kind of trance, completely unaware of what she was doing, or could this be a genuine glitch in the fabric of reality? Have you ever seen someone sleepwalk before? If you haven't, have you ever wondered what they look like when they do? Well, today's your lucky day. Enjoy. Yes, he's actually sleepwalking, and no, he's not awake. He's not really aware of his surroundings because he's in a sleep state. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, is a sleep disorder characterized by engaging in complex behaviors while in a deep sleep state, typically during the non-rapid eye movement stages, particularly third stage known as slow-wave sleep. During a sleepwalking episode, individuals can perform activities ranging from sitting up in bed to walking around and, in more extreme cases, driving or engaging in other complex tasks. Yes, they could drive in this state. When Julius pointed this out to me, I was skeptical and did the research, and it's actually true. Sleepwalkers often have their eyes open with a glared, unfocused expression, but they're typically not aware of their actions and usually don't remember the episode upon waking. This condition is more common in children and tends to decrease in frequency with age, although it can persist into adulthood for some. We still don't know what the cause is, but it's believed to be linked to a combination of genetic, environmental, and physiological factors. Stress, sleep deprivation, certain medications, and disruptions in the regular sleep schedule can trigger or exacerbate episodes. If you know a sleepwalker, be kind to them and say a prayer for them. I can't imagine how stressful the whole thing can be for them, despite this particular one looking funny. Are there any sleepwalkers here? Care to share some of your wildest experiences? Next, we've got your long-awaited bonus segment. Take a look. If you're confused and wondering what that is, believe me when I say you're not the only one. I know this person's joking, but come on, invisibility potions? Before you conclude this isn't real and that I'm pulling your legs, know that I'm not. These are actual and real bugs. Your job today is to find out what they are and tell us in the comments section with one fact about them. I trust you guys, so all the best. While one type of light has been explained by experts to be a satellite launch into space, I doubt if that is the same explanation for this. These strange horizontal streaks of light were captured over Mauna Kea, an inactive volcano in Hawaii, on 28th of January 2023. They looked like green lasers coming from the sky onto the Earth. Many who saw it saw a Matrix reference and didn't hesitate to point it out. And there seems to be several people who have made claims of seeing these lights before. However, after much speculation, an explanation was finally given from one of the unlikeliest sources. Experts at the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, which co-owns the camera, announced on Twitter that the source was a radar device of an orbiting satellite known as ICE-SAT-2, which is owned by NASA. These reports were soon refuted by NAOJ themselves again on the 6th of February. They apologized and said that based on the trajectory, the source of the laser beam was unlikely NASA. This was confirmed by Dr. Martino Antony Jr., a NASA scientist working on ICE-SAT-2 Atlas, and his colleague Dr. Alvaro Ivanov. They did a simulation and suggested that the potential source is the Chinese Daqi-1 AEMS satellite's ACDL instrument, Science Alert reported. Now, there's a lot we can say about this, but I'll leave it to you guys. What do you make of the information I've presented? Is there something fishy going on here, or could it just be information and misunderstanding between some of the top minds in the world? The creature looks like a frog, but with the ability to stand on two legs. Its movements are similar to a bird as it perks up every few seconds. At first glance, anyone would be lost as to what the creature truly is. After a little digging around, and with a lot of help from the comments section of the original post, I discovered that the creature bears a striking resemblance to the mythical Murloc from the Warcraft series. The Murloc is a fictional creature known for its amphibious nature, savage behavior, and primitive society. These creatures have bulbous bodies, large mouths with sharp fangs, and slimy skin. According to Wiki of the creature, they primarily inhabit coastal areas and come in a variety of colors, with some resembling frogs or fish, while others resemble red-eyed tree frogs, as is the case with the creature we are currently observing. In Warcraft lore, Murlocs are hostile creatures that often attack travelers and settlements in large groups. They're known for their distinctive gurgling sounds and are feared by many in the game's universe. Now, how does a fictional game character suddenly come to life in our own? No one really knows, unless, of course, the writer found the creatures, spoke to no one about them, and decided to use them for his own militaristic purposes. Either that or this clip is definitely CGI, but as I always state, until we have enough evidence, nothing can be disproved, despite how ridiculous it looks and sounds. What do you think about the whole thing, though? Share your thoughts in the comments section. If you thought a car on water was amazing, wait till you see this. Imagine a bus that could run on a nuclear reactor. That's exactly what this bus is. But as much as I wouldn't want to burst your bubble, the Cyclops is a fictional vehicle made from the 1976 movie The Big Bus, and that's all there is to it. This remarkable mode of transport was designed to travel across the country without ever needing to stop for fuel. Just think about the possibilities. The Cyclops could have changed the way we travel forever with its revolutionary technology, if it were real. A nuclear-powered bus would have been a game-changer in the transportation industry, offering a cleaner and more efficient way to travel. Unfortunately, the Cyclops only exists in the world of fiction. Nevertheless, it's fascinating to think about what could have been if this incredible vehicle was made reality. Perhaps someday, someone will create a real-life Cyclops that can revolutionize the way we travel. Still on strange water sightings, we've got another one, but this time in the waters of Mexico. This spectacle was captured by a couple who were walking on a boardwalk by the shores of Veracruz. What makes this incident more peculiar is that residents reported that they wasn't just the first time this had happened, making it even more intriguing. It's highly unusual if this is a natural disaster, as it is not naturally possible for such an event to occur. A whirlpool appearing and disappearing at will. Could we be looking at some sort of portal or some sort of scientific experiment going on in broad daylight? It's possible that this couple happened to be at the location at the exact same time when the entity responsible for this passage opened it. It looks like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Sometimes I just don't get what the thrill of making life-threatening decisions is all about. Take a look at this footage taken by a man biking on a trail in the middle of the forest all alone. As he rode through the woods with a camera on his head and just the light from his bicycle to guide him, he captured something truly eerie. He didn't notice it at the time, but when he got home and reviewed the footage, he saw it. On the side of the path among the trees was a tall, pale figure dressed in what looked like dark clothes. Only its pale head, neck, and hands were visible, and the creature was extremely tall. It seems this man had unknowingly captured an entity out there in the woods. Given the height and chilling appearance, could this be the infamous Slender Man? As long as there is light, there will always be illusions. Have you heard of Fata Morgana? It's a fascinating optical phenomenon where people perceive things in the sky, such as buildings, objects, and structures that aren't really there. Someone recently shared some intriguing footage they took of the sky. The video seems to show some sort of structure floating up in the air. While this could undoubtedly be a Fata Morgana, some people believe there's more to it. Given all the recent discussions about UFOs, some speculate that these structures could be cloaked objects rather than mere illusions. Fata Morgana occurs due to temperature inversions, where layers of warm and cold air bend light rays, creating a mirage. This phenomenon can make distant objects appear much closer and distorted, often giving the impression of a surreal and otherworldly sight. However, with increasing interest in UFO sightings and the possibility of advanced technologies, some people are open to the idea that this might not just be an optical illusion. Could these be advanced, cloaked structures hiding in plain sight? What do you think? Are these mysterious sky structures just tricks of light, or could they be something more? Human beings are known for their insatiable curiosity. In this particular instance, there is video footage that showcases this curiosity, where a man enters a glass structure in the snow to explore. If the video is here, then you know that it didn't go so well. In this next clip, a bird farmer is seen entering the enclosure of her birds to check up on and possibly feed them. As she steps inside, all the birds start running around, chirping and flapping their wings. Suddenly, something strange happens. All the birds freeze in place as if time has stopped. The only bird that remains unfazed is the one in the middle, who continues to peck at the food in front of it. Just look at that, all frozen in time. But could this be a glitch in the Matrix, or what do you think? Let's see what people had to say about it. There was one common explanation between people, and that is, this is a normal thing among birds to be frozen in time when they sense danger. According to experts, when birds sense a threat, they go into a state of shock, also known as tonic immobility. This response is a survival mechanism that helps them avoid being detected by predators who are less likely to attack prey that appears to be dead. In the case of the bird farmer, it's possible that the sudden appearance of their owner caused the birds to react this way. However, it's also possible that they were reacting to something else entirely, such as a loud noise, a sudden movement, or even a predator. We can't, however, state with certainty what it is without any more evidence. Have you ever heard of petrification? All around the world, there are giant stone-like structures that eerily resemble snakes, dinosaurs, and other creatures. When you look closely at the texture of these rocks, they bear a striking resemblance to the actual creature they mimic, almost as if they've been turned to stone. Could this be evidence that these animals really existed and were petrified over time? Some people believe these formations might be the remnants of ancient creatures, somehow fossilized in such a way that their true forms were perfectly preserved in stone. The theory is intriguing. Imagine if these giant stone snakes or dinosaur-shaped rocks were once living, breathing beings caught in some catastrophic event that turned them to stone. Of course, more scientists explain these formations as naturally occurring rock formations that, through erosion and weathering, just happen to resemble familiar shapes. But for those who enjoy the mysteries of the world, the idea of petrified creatures hidden in plain sight is hard to resist. What do you think? Could these stone structures be remnants of ancient creatures, or are they just the tricks of nature? One thing birds, especially pigeons, are known for is going while in flight. Nobody wants to be at the end of that, and believe me when I tell you, it's not a pleasant experience. Anyway, moving on. This man had the unfortunate incident happening to him, but fortunately for him, it was on his car. He got close to it, and he realized something. There was something in the bird poo, and it was actually moving. Talk about a disturbing scene. I wanted to do the research and tell you guys what that could be, but couldn't bring myself to. I believe there are some experts in our audience. Can you guys educate us, please? We'll be reading. What do you see when you watch this clip? For many, it might be a reptile or dinosaur-looking thing, but for those in the Scottish Highlands, this might just be the real-life footage of the Loch Ness Monster. For those unfamiliar with it, the elusive creature, often described as a serpent or dragon-like beast, is said to inhabit the deep, murky waters of Scotland's Loch Ness, the largest freshwater lake in the British Isles. Legends and folklore surrounding the existence of this mysterious creature have been passed down through generations of Scottish culture, with sightings and encounters dating back to ancient times. In fact, the first written account of a sighting of the Loch Ness Monster dates back to the year 565 AD, when a missionary named St. Columba claimed to have seen a water beast in the lake. Since then, countless reports and sightings have been recorded, with witnesses describing the creature as having a long serpentine body, a large head, and often a pair of humps protruding from the water. Reverting to the clip, a number of individuals who saw it stated there was no way it could be real. An example is this comment. The user points out something critical they observed. The creature's front fins don't disturb the water. I didn't notice it before, but after going back to watch the clip, I must say that it does look like a hot knife going through butter. It almost looks unreal. If the concerns of the commentator are to be believed, then this certainly is a reason to believe that the clip might indeed be doctored or simply put a CGI creation. But then again, perhaps my skill in cinematography might be lacking. Has this been the only sighting? Well, not exactly. In April of 1933, a couple reported seeing an enormous creature crossing the road in front of their car near the loch. This sighting sparked widespread media attention, and soon afterward, numerous additional sightings, including eyewitness accounts, photographs, and alleged film footage purported to show the creature, were reported. In the decades that followed, numerous scientific expeditions and investigations were launched to study the phenomenon. Various methods were used, including sonar surveys, underwater photography, and DNA analysis of the loch's waters. While some studies yielded inconclusive results, others suggested that the reported sightings could be attributed to natural phenomena or misidentification of known animals. Despite this, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster continues to captivate the public's imagination, and the mystery surrounding it remains unsolved. Now, what do we have here? A dry, dead fish is brought back to life by a drop of water. What sorcery is this? Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the zombie fish. Not zombie in the way of eating brains, of course, but the ability to spring back to life. This fish is what many call the suckermouth catfish or pleco. These fish are found in ponds and rivers in South America and have an incredible ability to survive in extreme conditions. When their natural habitat dries up, they bury themselves in the mud and go into a state of suspended animation known as aestivation. During this period, they can survive without water or food for several months. Their metabolism slows down to the point where they require very little oxygen, and their body becomes dehydrated, as you can see in this footage. But they don't die. When the rains come and their habitat is reflooded, the fish rehydrate and come back to life. In this case, the fish was responding to the drops of water being poured on it. It might seem like a miraculous resurrection, but it's just their fantastic ability to survive extreme conditions. We all know our drain pipes are connected to sewers that eventually lead to a central place, carrying everything from dirty water to chemical waste and more. But what happens when something unusual flows through? A passerby captured this unsettling footage while walking by a large gutter where the sewer system was discharging its liquids. As they watched, something shocking happened. A red liquid began pouring out into the gutter. The sight of this red liquid flowing freely raises a chilling questions. Could that be blood? It's hard to say for sure, but the mere thought of it is enough to send shivers down your spine. What could have caused this, and where did it come from? Is it some kind of industrial waste, or is there a more sinister explanation? A man was exploring an abandoned building when he stumbled upon something truly bizarre. As he cautiously made his way through the decaying halls, he noticed movement in the shadows ahead. He quickly pulled out his camera and started recording, only to capture something that has since sparked heated debates online. There, in the dim light, was a short creature, its small hunched figure climbing in an open structure that seemed to lead downward. The creature moved with an unsettling agility, disappearing into the darkness below before the man could get a closer look. The footage quickly went viral, with many viewers insisting that what the man captured was no ordinary animal. Some claimed it looked like a goblin, a mythical creature known in folklore for its mischievous and often sinister behavior. The creature's small stature, long limbs, and eerie movements certainly gave it an otherworldly appearance. However, not everyone was convinced. Skeptics were quick to point out that the footage could have easily been edited, arguing that the creature's movements appeared unnatural, almost as if it were a CGI creation. What do you think? The vast and mysterious ocean is considered one of the largest unexplored territories on Earth and is home to a plethora of conspiracies and creatures that remain unknown to man. One of the most popular and captivating mythical beings that the ocean is said to host is the mermaid. These magical creatures are often depicted with the upper bodies of humans and the lower bodies of fish and have been a part of human folklore for centuries. Puerto Rico, a beautiful coastal area, is no exception to this. It has its collection of mermaid legends and folklore which have been passed down through generations. Known as sirenas in Spanish, these stories may vary across different regions and communities, but the allure of mermaids remains a prominent feature of Puerto Rican folklore. In this footage, a group of people who were out fishing had an extraordinary experience. As they were on the surface, they noticed a blue glow in the water close to their boat. The glow followed them for a while before they noticed the silhouette of a human-like creature in the water. Although this sighting was different from the unusual mermaid sightings, it has left many people convinced it's the real deal. Some even suspect it might be alien. But what do you think? The sky has been a subject of fascination for humans for centuries. Despite the numerous sightings of strange objects in the sky, there are still some more sightings that continue to get viewers in a frenzy. Take a look at this particular one. This peculiar cloud with flashing lights was spotted in North Philadelphia. The unusual mass descended from the sky and vanished behind a house in the vicinity. That's definitely not how clouds are supposed to act, and the sighting quickly gained a lot of attention and even made it to Fox and ABC News. It, however, appears that this was not the first time people had seen this. Many people in the comments section also testified to seeing this strange cloud falling out of the sky at other times within the same area. There were even some from other parts of the world who claimed to have seen it in their regions too. Others had a range of opinions about what this could be. One commenter suggested that this was a drone cloaked as a cloud. Another commenter was convinced that this was a UFO. He even made a subtle argument that the flashing lights were evidence of extraterrestrial activity, and countless others agreed with him. Despite the evidence and buzz around it, a number of individuals in the paranormal community think the whole thing is a hoax meant to throw the community in disarray. You've seen the clip yourself. What do you think? When you go for an open house tour, the last thing you expect is to enter the house of a murderer. But that is what a Reddit user believes happened.
Wow, that is I noticed that too. I don't know what this is, but there's a big bag in there.
He had gone to an open house tour in California. As they were exploring the house, he noticed a strange-looking compartment in the ground resembling a trapdoor. Curiosity piqued, he went closer to take a better look. Inside, he saw a huge bin bag submerged in brownish water. The sight was unsettling and seemed out of place in the otherwise normal-looking house. The situation took a darker turn when the woman in charge of the toss saw them snooping around. She quickly and sternly kicked them out of the house. This abrupt reaction raised even more suspicion. Why would she react so strongly if there was nothing to hide? It's hard to ignore the chilling implications. Could there have been something sinister in that bag? Was there a body inside? Given that this was posted on Reddit, I guess we will never know.
There's a big bag in there with water.
We have evidence of an evolution that the government doesn't want you to know about. Take a look.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, you're seeing right. That's a corgi riding a pony. They're both miniature versions of their species, yet somehow the corgi is evolving into a cowboy, or should I say a cow dog. If World War III is being discussed on the news, as well as the threat of a new deadly bird flu pandemic, then why isn't anyone talking about this potentially world-ending evolution? Unless, of course, the government and the media are in bed together. The world is ending. But seriously, I'm joking, and don't repeat this anywhere.
Oh my gosh!
You say hi? No? You don't want to say hi? What was that?
A woman and her child were walking on a trail when they heard a loud shriek that seems to come out of nowhere. The child, who was sitting on the ground, even heard it and began to crawl away. In another encounter, a hiker on a lonely trail heard a strange shrieking sound that started from a distance but kept getting closer.
And I keep hearing that same scream. Here it is again.
The suspected cryptid? The Skinwalker. For those who don't know, Skinwalkers are a fascinating and mysterious part of Navajo legend that has captured the imagination of people worldwide. These creatures are known for their mischievous behavior and their ability to transform into any animal they desire. They're also known to be dangerous, and it's said that they can cause harm to those who cross their path. According to Navajo tradition, the only way to kill a Skinwalker is with a bullet dipped in white ash. Despite their fictional origins, many people believe that Skinwalkers are real, and there have been numerous sightings and encounters reported throughout the years. Some people claim to have heard strange sounds in the woods, such as loud shrieks and eerie howls that they believe are the calls of Skinwalkers. Others have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, or even encountering animals that seem to possess an uncanny intelligence and an otherworldly aura. While some people are convinced that these encounters are proof of the existence of Skinwalkers, others are more skeptical. Some argue that the sounds captured on camera could be the calls of ordinary animals, or even fake sounds created to attract attention.
It's definitely not a bird or some kind of animal.
Clones have been one of the most talked about conspiracies when it comes to government cover-ups. It's a popular belief among the masses that the government creates clones of people in high positions for reasons unknown to the public. Additionally, there are also claims that celebrities are cloned as well. Now, I know you might have come across this footage several times, but let's revisit it. For those who don't know anything about it, this was taken during Katy Perry's concert in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the clip, we can see that she's on stage staring at her audience while they cheered. This iconic moment is, however, interrupted by her eyes glitching. One began to open and close uncontrollably like you typically see with a broken Barbie doll. Realizing this, she touched her temple ever so slightly and the twitching stopped. This is not normal human function, and people had a lot to say about it. While many insisted she had to be a clone, there were some who thought she might be unwell. One user pointed out the possibility of stroke, but a lot more subscribed to the idea of her being a clone of the original. Now, what do you make of it? Was this a genuine case of human cloning, or is this something else entirely?
Make even more noise for my band.
If you have galleophobia, you might want to skip ahead by a minute. If you don't know what the meaning of the word is, then chances are you don't have it.
My goodness. That is amazing.
Now, if you haven't figured it out already, galleophobia is the extreme fear of sharks. This clip is some of the wildest yet most amazing clips of sharks we've ever come across. I don't think we've featured a shark here before, but I always thought if we ever did feature a shark, it would be the discovery of the MacLeod or its remains. But rest assured, we haven't discovered or found the MacLeod yet. This isn't a bonus clip, but I thought we'd have a test on your knowledge of sharks. How many different species of sharks can you see in the clip, and what are their names? I haven't made this promise before, but maybe, just maybe, if one person is able to name them all, they may receive a bit of classified captures merch from me. Identify as many species as you can from the clip, and you might just be the first and lucky winner of our merch. Good luck.
Alienígena não tem.
Como?
Alienígena.
Alienígena? Que é?
Essa palavra você nunca ouviu falar? Alienígena.
Alienígena, não.
Some people visited a native tribe in Brazil called the Hunikuin and showed them images of a grey alien. And guess what? These natives knew exactly what this creature was. They called it the Man Kunuwabu. According to the natives, these beings were ant people who lived inside the earth. They claimed to have known about the existence of these creatures for thousands of years. To them, these beings are not aliens, but creatures that live on Earth underground. They described these beings as having a unique connection to the Earth, living in vast underground networks. Their stories paint a picture of a hidden world beneath our feet, one that modern science has yet to explore fully. This information is coming from indigenous people who were completely secluded from the modern world, undiluted by contemporary influences. If this is true, then we should definitely be concerned. But how do we confirm its authenticity? Perhaps it's time to send Julius on another one of those trips.
Fica mexendo com ela demais, ela leva o espírito da pessoa para debaixo da terra também.
While we ponder the reality of that video, we still have things to figure out, like this footage, for instance.
We're either being surrounded by friggin' UFOs or the Coast Guard. I want us in. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lights we see there. They've been coming on. They were 7 lights.
In this intriguing story, a fisherman's adventure at sea took an unexpected turn when he captured some mysterious footage on his camcorder. The footage shows the beautiful orange horizon as the sun sets, and the camera pans to the distance where a red light is seen. The fisherman then zooms in to capture a closer view, but the footage becomes shaky and unsteady. Suddenly, the camera cuts to a view of more than a dozen of these red lights in the sky, which the fisherman claims to be UFOs that have been trailing his boat for a while. While this man's account of the event is fascinating, the footage is not clear enough to identify what those lights were. Despite the fisherman's claims, some were skeptical about the encounter. Some even registered their frustration about the clip being from afar. One even suggested that they should have moved closer to allow the ships to get near enough for a good shot of the ship. That has me wondering, in what world is that logical?
The state of Florida looked up into the air this morning to see a bright light streaking across the dark sky. Was it a plane?
Still on strange lights in the sky, we visit Florida, where a streak of light was seen in the night sky. It was a bright orb in the center with a beam of light diverging into the sky. It was quite the spectacle that also sparked a lot of frenzy and chaos among the residents. Once again, experts came to clarify that this was just a rocket being launched. However, people were not very convinced, and this is what they had to say. Many called it fake news. The majority were convinced that this could all be covered up for something nefarious going on there. One comment, however, got my attention, and it read, "Aren't rockets supposed to fly vertically, not horizontally?" Now, that's a good question, so I looked it up and it turns out not really. This is because launching vertically allows rockets to efficiently escape Earth's atmosphere, which requires a significant amount of thrust. However, once a rocket reaches a certain altitude and velocity, it can adjust its trajectory to move horizontally if that's what the mission requires. Another person argued that if there was indeed a rocket launch, there would have been some form of announcement. We can't confirm if there was or not, but what do you guys make of these theories and speculation? This video was filmed at Tumati Beach on the Paraguana Peninsula in Venezuela, capturing something truly unusual. A strange light was spotted on the horizon over the ocean in the dead of night. It started as a vivid blue light, then shifted to red, before gradually dimming and finally vanishing into the darkness. This wasn't like any fireworks display, it was far more mysterious. The light had the distinct shape of an orb, and you can clearly see its glow reflecting brightly in the sky on the surfaces of the water. What makes this sighting even more intriguing is how it behaved, changing colors and then disappearing without a trace. It wasn't a flare or any typical marine signal, it was something else, something harder to explain. Could this be evidence of extraterrestrial activity? These two images were taken by a man who was out hunting in the woods. He stumbled upon an abandoned shack deep in the forest, and what he captured near the shack was truly unsettling. Standing on two legs was a creature, but the face was hard to make out because it was in motion when the photo was taken. However, the lower part of the creature is a bit more visible, enough to spark some serious debate. Now, there's a conspiracy theory floating around about dog-like creatures being used as soldiers or possibly being artificially created. As usual, Aaron is convinced that this is one of those creatures, while Julius dismisses it as a hoax. What do you think, though? Could this be evidence of a secret experiment, or is it just another case of misidentification or digital trickery?
Michael, hurry! Come here.
This chilling footage captures a peculiar moment inside a 121-year-old Victorian house purchased by a couple. The woman, while alone in a room just below the attic, suddenly began to hear strange noises from above. Alarmed, she started filming and called her husband to come and listen. They were certain that no one else was in the house except for themselves and their two young daughters. The sounds, however, persisted, muffled movements, faint thuds, and an unsettled creak of the attic floor. Many people who have purchased historic Victorian homes have reported strange happenings, from unexplained noises, doors opening and closing on their own, and even shadowy figures. Victorian houses often carry rich histories, and some believe residual energies from the past may linger in their walls. Alternatively, this could be a case of something more mundane but equally unsettling, like squatters or animals that have found their way into the attic. What do you think might be causing the eerie noises? This incredible footage comes from an apartment building in China and captures the exact moment lightning struck inside a home. The security camera footage shows a woman in her kitchen when the lightning blasts through a window, hitting a rack of kitchen utensils and scattering them to the ground. Amazingly, the woman was unharmed, thought she immediately ran out of the kitchen in shock. From an exterior surveillance angle, you can see the lightning bolt streak through the window. It's a wild and terrifying sight. The sheer power of nature is on full display here, and the fact that she walked away unscathed makes this moment even more unbelievable.
Míralo, míralo, mi papá bailando con mira, mira.
Next, we've got a family enjoying a cozy bonfire night with laughter filling the air. This man is holding a child in his arms, swaying back and forth behind the fire. You can even hear the claps from the people behind the camera. But then something eerie happens that turns this heartwarming moment into a scene straight out of a horror movie. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get it. As the man dances, a ghostly figure suddenly appears, trailing him closely. This figure isn't just lurking in the background, it seems to be following his every move. When he steps to the right, it follows. When he sways to the left, it mirrors him, as if it's trying to stay as close as possible. What makes this even more unsettling is the appearance of the figure. It's transparent, almost like a shadow or a wisp of smoke, but it has a distinct form. Its arms are stretched out, and it seems to be reaching toward the child, almost as if it's trying to take the child from the man's arms. The figure's movements are eerily synchronized with the man's, making it impossible to dismiss it as just a trick of the light or a camera glitch. The most terrifying part, no one noticed this figure in real time. It wasn't until the family reviewed the footage later that they realized what had been captured on camera. We don't have a context to the footage, so we cannot tell if this is a family member or just some random entity.
Míralo, míralo, mi papá bailando con mira, mira.
These days, fewer people are tuning into traditional TV. With everyone streaming or scrolling through social media, live shows just don't get the attention they used to. Attendance has dropped, and the excitement of a packed audience seems to be fading. But it looks like some event organizers might have found a solution, or perhaps a rather disturbing one.
De La Hoya's girl, wife? What is that? That shit looks uncanny as fuck. Fuck no. Look at that.
A man was watching a boxing match when he noticed something strange in the audience. Behind the ring, among the sea of spectators, was a woman. A very odd-looking woman. She was seated, staring straight at the ring, but something about her appearance was off. The man paused his TV, and that's when things got really strange. As you focus on the woman, it becomes clear that she doesn't look real at all. Her face was expressionless, almost like that of a mannequin. If this woman is indeed fake, it raises some unsettling questions. Are organizers now filling seats with fake audience members to make shows appear more popular than they are? And if so, how many more of these artificial spectators might be out there blending in with the crowd? Just imagine a stadium filled with fake people, with loudspeakers playing recorded cheers to simulate the excitement of a live crowd. It's a bizarre and eerie thought, isn't it? What do you think about this strange discovery? Could this be the future of live shows, or is there something else going on here? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're curious to hear what you think.
Are we just gonna ignore De La Hoya's girl, wife? What is that? That shit looks uncanny as fuck. Fuck no. Look at that.
A man recently shared 2 eerie photos he took in from a room filled with shelves stacked with various items. In the first image, the room appears normal. A man sits alone at a desk in the center of the room, lit by light coming from what seems to be a phone or computer on the desk. But in the second image, something chilling appears. It's a ghostly figure of a woman standing directly over him. Her attire resembles something from the Victorian era. She had on a long black dress and neatly styled hair from the Victorian era. Her apparition is detailed and clear, making it hard to dismiss as an obvious hoax or digital manipulation. Could this be evidence of a lingering spirit tied to the room's history, or is there another less supernatural explanation for this hauntingly vivid figure? What do you think? Have you ever heard? Next, let's take a look at another indigenous group known as the Aforis. They're an intriguing tribe of Hindus who embrace death in a very unconventional way. The Aforis are said to be cannibals who consume the flesh of the dead. After cremation, they smear the ashes all over their bodies. They also drink from skulls and partake in significant amounts of alcohol and marijuana. For the Agoras, these practices are part of their spiritual journey. They believe in the concept of non-duality, which means they see no difference between pure and impure, life and death. By engaging in these extreme practices, they aim to transcend societal norms and break free from the cycle of reincarnation, ultimately achieving enlightenment. Strange, or should I say different, but interesting, wouldn't you agree? Residents of Coral Cape, Florida, were thrown into a frenzy when they observed a mysterious craft hovering over the area at night, casting a blue laser that scanned the land below. The various authorities were contacted about it, but none of them seemed to know what this thing was or why it was sweeping through the neighborhood. One resident, fed up with the lack of answers, purchased a flight radar to get better information on the craft. She discovered that the craft belonged to Randigo LLC. However, that's all the information she could gather. As to who owns this company and the purpose of the laser, residents are still left with no answers. Some members of the paranormal community had this to say. As you can see, everyone is confused and basically skeptical that the government knows nothing about the whole thing. What do you think this could be? Is it a government operation, a private company's experiment, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comments section below.
You didn't know that you didn't know, part 9. 75% of the mass of a human brain is made up of a substance called myelin. And myelin is made up 100% by cholesterol. Margarine was first invented in 1869, and it didn't gain popularity until the Second World War, when butter and other animal fats were scarce. It grew in popularity in the 50s. Alzheimer's never existed until 1979, and yet now it is one of the leading causes of death in Western societies.
The man you see on your screen is making a strong case about margarine, and I think he may be onto something. He starts off with the brain. About 75% of its mass is made up of myelin, a fatty substance critical for insulating nerve fibers and ensuring smooth communication within the nerve system. And guess what? Cholesterol is a key component of myelin. Your brain needs healthy fats like those found in natural animal products, say butter, to function properly. Now enter margarine, a man-made alternative to butter that gained traction during the mid-20th century, especially after World War II when animal fats were in short supply. If you didn't already know, margarine is made from processed vegetable oils, often hydrogenated, turning them into trans fats. Unlike natural fats, trans fats can disrupt cellular processes and have been linked to numerous health problems, including cognitive decline. Here's the twist. Alzheimer's disease, a condition associated with the degeneration of the brain's myelin and neurons, was almost unheard of before the 1960s. Could it be a coincidence that its rise parallels the widespread adoption of margarine and the decline in natural fat consumption? Or are we looking at the unintended consequences of replacing natural fats with artificial ones? If you're not convinced, here's a little experiment. Place 3 items in your garden: a slab of butter, a piece of margarine made without animal fats, and a piece of plastic. Over time, you'll notice that nature embraces butter. It decomposes, is eaten by insects, or is absorbed into the soil. But margarine and plastic, they are ignored. Even microorganisms won't touch margarine, suggesting it's unnatural to them as plastic. Could margarine, with its processed ingredients and inability to integrate with nature, be doing the same in our bodies? By replacing natural fats with an artificial substitute, are we inadvertently starving our brains of the cholesterol it desperately needs? Did the creators of margarine know this? Are they trying to slowly kill us or cause a decline in cognitive ability? I'll let you decide that.
Alzheimer's never existed until 1979, and yet now it is one of the leading causes of death in Western societies.
What the is that? Nah. Y'all see that though, right? I know I ain't tripping, bro.
A man was out one night when he spotted something extraordinary: a group of glowing orbs in the clouds. These mysterious lights weren't just hovering, they were moving in different formations, almost like they were dancing across the night sky. This was not the work of fireworks, fireflies, or even drones. The movements were too coordinated, too deliberate, and far too strange to be easily explained by conventional means. So what are they? Could this be another sighting of UFOs, silently observing and maneuvering above us? Or is there another explanation for these eerie glowing formations?
What the is that? Nah. Y'all see that though, right? I know I ain't tripping, bro.
Did you know that the world's largest producer of cigarettes is also behind many of the processed foods we eat today? That's right. The same companies that once focused on getting people addicted to tobacco are now applying similar strategies to make food products addictive and potentially harmful. I'm tempted to mention names, but a part of me feels that will not be the safest thing to do. These companies have mastered the art of creating cravings. They use specific combinations of salt, sugar, and fat to trigger the brain's pleasure centers, making us want more. It's a calculated effort to ensure we keep coming back for more, just like they did with cigarettes. The implications of this are troubling. Just as tobacco addiction leads to numerous health issues, the addiction to processed foods is contributing to the global rise in obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. It's a public health crisis that mirrors the impact of smoking. Now, why do you think these companies might be pushing against growing your food? It's simple: control and profit. If more people start growing their food, it disrupts the demand for their addictive processed products. Homegrown food means healthier choices and less dependency on the food industry's offerings. I know this may be unsettling for some of us, but the next time you're at a grocery store, consider the origins of the various processed foods you see before deciding what to buy. Go out and camp. It's fun and you get to spend time with nature, they say, but no one tells you about the growls and howls of wild animals and how they wake you up every few minutes. They don't tell you that you would meet creatures that should only exist in your nightmares. Take this clip, for instance. A camper woke up one night to attend to nature's call when they heard some leaves rustling nearby. They went to check it out, and this is what they saw: a creature with pink flesh sticking its head out from behind some bushes. The creature had its teeth showing from the menacing snarl on its face, and then the video cut off. Now, I'm no zoologist, but the last time I checked, we shouldn't have animals like this. That leaves me with one question: what creature was that? Any of you campers with answers would love to hear them. Speaking of strange captures, take a look at this one.
Y'all, I'm a security guard and I'm doing my checks. What the is this? Alright, that's too much. Clock the out.
This clip was uploaded by a woman who ran into an unusual situation while at the post. She was doing her usual rounds at her facility when she noticed that there was what looked like a person, most likely a man, tied to a chair with a cloth over his head. Seeing this supposedly spooked her, and she left the place minding her own business. Now, I get why anyone would mind their own business in a situation like this, but recording your face and putting it online on your personal account isn't exactly minding your own business. It's putting a target on your back. Aaron thinks the whole thing might be a joke or a prank, and quite frankly, I hope so too. But this is the 21st century and anything is possible. What would you have done in her situation, assuming this whole thing is legit?
Alright, that's too much. Clock the out.
But when I started walking back, that's when I could see these logs moving.
That tree branch was not there like that.
These logs are huge, and they're crisscrossing them, blocking the path.
This footage comes from a woman who went into the woods at night with her flashlight and camera. Initially, the path seemed clear, but on her way back, she encountered a strange sight. There were large logs crisscrossed on the path she had been taken earlier. These weren't there when she arrived, making her feel uneasy. Trusting her instincts, she quickly left the area. Later, as she reviewed the footage, something chilling caught her attention. Hidden behind a tree was a dark, shadowy figure. Its huge fur-covered legs were partially visible, blending into the darkness of the forest. The woman is convinced that she had an encounter with Bigfoot, and many who have seen the footage agree it's compelling evidence. But skeptics argue it could be a trick of shadow, an animal, or even a prank. What do you think?
It made me nervous because these were big trees and this was a big thing sitting there staring at me.
Yeah.
This has got to be the boogiest caterpillar I've seen yet. A hairy one with a mohawk. This little guy was just casually moving along on a rock, looking like he was ready to rock out. Well, this isn't just an ordinary caterpillar. What you're looking at is the Palarisa cervina caterpillar. It might seem like it's dressed for a punk rock concert, but this is just nature's way of showing off its creativity. This caterpillar's unique appearance isn't just for show, though. The hair and mohawk-like features might help it blend in with its surroundings or even ward off predators. It's amazing how something so small can have such a big personality. Have you seen anything like this before? Let's take a look at this intriguing video captured by someone on their drive home one night in Belgium. As they were driving, they noticed something unusual in the sky, a horizontal arrangement of blue lights hovering ahead of them. At first, the lights appeared stationary as the car moved forward. My team and I initially thought it must just be a reflection on the car window, but then something strange happened. The lights began to contract, pulling together in a tight cluster, and then they suddenly expanded outward again. This was no ordinary reflection. Something was definitely going on in the sky. Many people who've seen the video believe that these lights could be a UFO, possibly hiding behind the clouds. The way the lights moved and changed shape certainly points to something out of the ordinary. Could it be that we're witnessing a sighting of an unidentified flying object, or is there another explanation we're missing?
Mira, andamos demoliendo una casa. Y lo que salió dentro de la pared.
Whenever individuals remodel or renovate their houses, they find things they never knew existed in their homes because they're typically sealed off. That's exactly what happened with the house you're seeing on your screen. The house was actually being demolished. It was going smoothly until they discovered this mummified and unidentified creature in the walls of the house. That's definitely not normal, right? The workers were allegedly spooked and paused work for a while. One of them took a picture and uploaded it online, and that's how we also got wind of it. The big question here is, what exactly are we dealing with? The simple truth is, no one truly knows. Some think it's a mummified bat, which sounds a bit logical. When you look at it up close, however, you can tell it has to be something else. Some also suggested it might be a dried devilfish. That was the first I'd ever heard of this term. After doing a bit of research, I understood why they thought it was that. Anyway, you've seen the clip too. What do you think we're dealing with here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
Mira, andamos demoliendo una casa. Y lo que salió dentro de la pared.
Tesla cars have become a hub for strange and unexplained occurrences, from ghostly apparitions appearing on monitors to peculiar anomalies like this one. A man was driving his Tesla when he noticed something unusual on his car's monitor. The vehicle ahead of him was unidentified as a police car. However, in real life, it was just a normal car. No markings, no lights, nothing to indicate it was a cop's car. Could Tesla's advanced sensors and cameras have some kind of feature capable of detecting undercover police vehicles, or if this was just another bizarre glitch in the system like so many others reported by Tesla owners? If it's intentional, it would certainly be an impressive and unique feature. Either way, it adds to the mystery of these already futuristic cars.
I've got this,
What do you think this is? A strange mass of weird-looking things on a couch with insects buzzing all around it. Well, if you guessed something unusual, you're right. What you're looking at is actually a yellow jacket nest. The mass on the couch is their home, and those insects flying about are the yellow jackets themselves. This spectacle was discovered in an abandoned shack deep in the woods. It's not every day you come across something like this, a nest taking over a piece of furniture, turning a simple couch into a hive of activity. Yellow jackets are known for their aggressive behavior, and finding their nest in such an unexpected place is both fascinating and terrifying. How did this nest end up here? What other surprises might be lurking in that old shack?
I've got this,
Zoom in on the shark in the distance.
I wonder if we could get a quick zoom on the shark.
Come in tight if you have it.
Well, I think I know who this guy is, but Bruce, since you're here...
During a deep-sea research expedition, the camera captured footage of a truly unique fish. This creature had a large, almost bulbous head, and its body moved with the fluid, undulating motion reminiscent of a catfish. But this wasn't just an ordinary fish, it was a ghost cat shark. The ghost cat shark is a rare and mysterious species, often found lurking in the dark depths of the ocean, where few other creatures venture. Its eerie appearance, with a head that seems almost too large for its body and a ghostly pale complexion, has intrigued marine biologists and ocean enthusiasts alike. What makes this creature even more fascinating is its elusive nature. Ghost cat sharks are rarely seen, and even less frequently captured on camera, making this footage a valuable glimpse into the life of one of the ocean's most enigmatic inhabitants. As it glides through the water, you can see why it earned its spectral name. Its movement is both graceful and haunting, like a shadow in the deep.
Okay, this looks like a cat shark in the genus Aprostourus. That's my take on it. Yeah, definitely with the shovel-like head and an anal fin. So I don't think there are any records of this genus Aprostourus from Lake Atoll, and we have no idea of what species this would be because there are a number of species in the genus, and none have been recorded from this area.
What the Again. It happened again. What the fuck is going on? Yo.
So this guy was out one night when he noticed some orange lights in the night sky. At first, he thought nothing of it, but then remembered he'd been seeing similar posts online about UFOs hiding in plain sight. This prompted him to record and share this clip on TikTok. Once the clip hit the internet, it made its way to our paranormal platform where many believers think this is the real deal. They have stated that the back of the craft looks like the thrusters of alien ships that are rumored to have. Some are also skeptical, stating it could have been faked to go viral on TikTok. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, but what say you? Culture and religion have always played a significant role in human life, shaping beliefs, traditions, and the way people interpret the world. However, as science continues to advance, it's often providing logical explanations for phenomena that we once considered supernatural or divine. Take this example from India. A statue on a building began leaking water one day, which many locals believed to be a divine sign. Crowds gathered, lining up to touch the statue, pray, and collect the water as a blessing. For them, this was an encounter with the divine. However, upon investigation, it turned out to be a case of a leaking air conditioner pipe, not a miraculous event. The water wasn't holy, but rather a condensation from the AC unit. This incident doesn't necessarily discredit the faith of those who believed, it simply shows how human interpretation often fills in the gaps when science isn't immediately available. What do you think? Have you ever wondered why humans cannot live forever? Well, take a listen to what Billy Carson said about that during a podcast interview.
Something happened to humans. They just discovered that the lifespan of a human being maxes out at about 120 years. Chromosome number 2, it was taken out and fused together. 2 telomere caps put on the end, limiting our lifespan. Well, the geneticist said it's an artificial mutation. And you're saying, wait a minute, well, who did it? These Anunnaki Atlantean people. We know that there was a genetic mutation 200,000 years ago. The same time the tablets are estimated to be written, that 120 statement is powerful because in Lil, he says, my seed shall not abide in man forever. His years shall be 120.
According to Carson, the reason we cannot live forever is due to a genetic mutation introduced by what he believes to be the Anunnaki Atlantean people. He claims that these advanced beings inserted an artificial gene into our DNA, capping our maximum lifespan at around 120 years. Carson bases his theory on ancient texts purportedly inscribed on tablets long before the Bible was written. These texts suggest that our shorter lifespans are the result of deliberate genetic manipulation by a more advanced civilization. So if humans don't live long due to some ancient civilization altering our DNA, what does that mean for us today? This perspective certainly opens up a fascinating dialogue about our origins and the potential influences of advanced civilizations on human history. I'm not the only one who thinks this is strange, right?
Chromosome number 2, it was taken out and fused together. 2 telomere caps put on the end, limiting our lifespan.
Hella weird. There's literally no way that door just opened by itself.
Animals are said to be very sensitive when it comes to spiritual things. A woman noticed that her dog had been acting really strange for a while. It would sit and stare at the shed or bark loudly at it. One day, the locked shed door just flung open. Now, curious and concerned, she decided to go and take a look. The dog walked cautiously toward the shed, but then jumped back as if something had spooked it. It felt like there was something inside, but she couldn't see anything. Ever since, her dog has refused to go near the shed, and the woman herself feels uneasy about the whole situation, prompting her to avoid the shed as well. What do you think the dog sensed? That's cute. Picasso! Picasso, yeah. Man, he's making such a ham of himself. I could go on, but, maybe I should stop, huh? That's brilliant. Oh, bless him. Now, what's the betting that portrait, whatever it happens to be, or that painting, will go in a gallery somewhere? And one of these pretentious guys will come along and take a look at it and be like, yes, absolutely brilliant, absolutely lovely. Yes, I see exactly what he was trying to do here. I want that on my wall. I will pay $5 million for it. What's the betting that'll happen? With that, we end today's episode. Thank you for being with us. I hope all you guys are doing okay this week, but do me a favor. You gotta make it much better for me if you share this stuff. And if you got any videos, you got any pictures, once again, you got anything, please send it to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll stick it on the channel. We'll even mention your name if you want. How the hell does that sound? My name's been Steve, and this has been Classified Captures. Now do me a favor and share this with everybody that you love. And I'll see you in the next one.